In the ancient quarries of Liaoning Province, China, where layers of rock hold secrets spanning millions of years, paleontologists uncovered a discovery that would forever change our understanding of dinosaur evolution. Beneath sediments dating back 130 million years, preserved with extraordinary detail, lay the remains of creatures that challenged everything scientists thought they knew about the relationship between dinosaurs and birds. The specimens were so perfectly preserved that even the most delicate structures, proto-feathers, skin impressions, and microscopic details of bone structure, remained intact, frozen in time like photographs from an ancient world. These weren't just any fossils. They represented a crucial missing link in evolutionary history, documenting the precise moment when dinosaurs began developing features that would eventually lead to flight. The preservation quality of these specimens was nothing short of miraculous. In most fossil formations, soft tissues deteriorate long before mineralization can occur, leaving only bones and occasional skin impressions. But here, in what paleontologists call a Lagerstätte, a sedimentary deposit with exceptional fossil preservation, even the finest details of primitive feathers remained visible. The secret lay in the very nature of their burial. Fine-grained, volcanic ash from ancient eruptions had settled over the creatures' bodies, creating an oxygen-free environment that prevented decay and preserved even the most delicate structures at a cellular level. What made these discoveries particularly groundbreaking was their timing in Earth's history. The fossils dated to the early Cretaceous period, during a time of intense global change. The world was warmer than today, with no polar ice caps and sea levels up to 200 meters higher than present. Forests of primitive conifers and early flowering plants covered the landscapes, and the skies were increasingly becoming a new frontier for vertebrate life. It was in this dynamic environment that the first experiment with feather-like structures began to take shape. The specimens revealed creatures that defied easy classification. They weren't quite dinosaurs as traditionally imagined, nor were they birds as we know them today. Instead, they represented various stages in the evolution of flight-capable creatures, from terrestrial ancestors. Some bore simple hair-like filaments, proto-feathers that likely served for insulation. Others showed more complex structures, branching filaments that began to resemble modern feathers, suggesting that the development of true feathers was a gradual process spanning millions of years. But what drove this evolutionary innovation? What selective pressures pushed some dinosaurs to develop these strange new body coverings? The answer, it seemed, lay in the complex interplay of survival strategies. The proto-feathers might have initially evolved for temperature regulation, helping these animals maintain stable body temperatures in a world of fluctuating climates. Or perhaps they served as display structures, used in courtship rituals and territorial disputes, much like modern birds use their plumage. The truth likely involved a combination of these factors, with different selective pressures acting simultaneously to shape the evolution of these remarkable structures. The implications of these discoveries reached far beyond paleontology. They provided concrete evidence for one of evolution's most fascinating processes: the co-option of existing structures for new functions. What began as simple filaments for insulation eventually became the complex flight feathers that would enable powered flight. This transformation represented one of the most significant evolutionary innovations in vertebrate history, opening up an entirely new ecological niche and leading to the incredible diversity of birds we see today. These findings also raised intriguing questions about the nature of evolutionary innovation itself. How many other major transitions in life's history followed similar patterns? What other seemingly sudden evolutionary leaps might actually represent the gradual modification of existing structures for new purposes? And perhaps most tantalizingly, what other revolutionary discoveries might still lie hidden in the rock layers of places like Liaoning, waiting to reshape our understanding of life's history once again? The transformation from terrestrial dinosaurs to airborne creatures represents one of the most remarkable evolutionary transitions in Earth's history. As scientists delved deeper into the fossil record, they discovered that the evolution of flight was far more complex than initially theorized. What emerged was a story of incremental adaptations, failed experiments, and successful innovations that spanned tens of millions of years. ultimately leading to the diverse array of flying creatures that would eventually dominate the skies. The earliest evidence of dinosaurs experimenting with aerial mobility dates back 160 million years, during the Middle Jurassic period. These pioneer species developed hollow bones, enhanced respiratory systems, and increasingly, sophisticated feather structures. But achieving powered flight required more than just physical adaptations. It demanded fundamental changes in neurology, metabolism, and behavior. The brain had to evolve enhanced spatial awareness and processing capabilities to handle three-dimensional navigation. The cardiovascular system needed to become more efficient to support the intense energy demands of sustained flight. These changes didn't happen overnight. They accumulated gradually over countless generations. Recent discoveries in Mongolia's Gobi Desert have revealed an extraordinary diversity of early flying experiments. Some species developed membranes between their limbs, similar to modern flying squirrels, while others showed evidence of primitive gliding capabilities. The fossil record suggests that flight evolved independently multiple times among dinosaurs, with different lineages finding various solutions to the challenge of becoming airborne. This parallel evolution demonstrates how powerful the selective pressure for aerial mobility was during this period. The development of the furcula, or wishbone, proved particularly crucial in the evolution of flight. This specialized bone, formed by the fusion of the clavicles, provided essential support for flight muscles and helped distribute the stresses of wing movements. Microscopic analysis of fossilized furculae shows a gradual transformation from rigid structures in early theropod dinosaurs to the more flexible, spring-like bones found in modern birds. This adaptation allowed for more efficient power generation during flight and better energy storage between wing beats. Perhaps most fascinating was the discovery of variations in feather structure across different species. Using electron microscopes, scientists identified at least 15 distinct types of protofeathers and true feathers, each representing different stages in the evolution of these complex structures. Some species possessed multiple feather types simultaneously, suggesting that feather evolution wasn't a simple linear progression but rather a complex branching process, with various experiments occurring in parallel. The question of when true powered flight first evolved remains contentious among paleontologists. The fossil record shows numerous examples of species that were clearly capable of some form of aerial locomotion, but determining which ones could achieve sustained powered flight poses significant challenges. The discovery of muscle attachment points, wing loading ratios, and feather asymmetry provides crucial clues, but the exact sequence of developments leading to true flight capability remains a subject of intense debate. Environmental factors played a crucial role in driving these adaptations. The late Jurassic and early Cretaceous periods saw significant changes in global climate and vegetation. The spread of flowering plants created new ecological niches in forest canopies, while varying oxygen levels and atmospheric conditions influenced the possibility and efficiency of flight. Understanding these environmental contexts helps explain why flight evolved when it did, and how it shaped the subsequent evolution of birds. As scientists continue to unearth new fossils and develop more sophisticated analytical techniques, our understanding of this crucial evolutionary transition becomes increasingly nuanced. Each discovery adds another piece to the puzzle, revealing how a group of ground-dwelling reptiles gradually conquered the skies through a series of remarkable adaptations. But what other evolutionary experiments might have occurred during this transition? How many failed attempts at flight preceded the successful ones? And what can these ancient innovations teach us about the nature of evolutionary change and adaptation in response to environmental challenges? The story of how dinosaurs took to the air remains one of the most compelling narratives in evolutionary history, demonstrating the power of natural selection to produce extraordinary innovations through the gradual accumulation of beneficial changes. Yet every answer we uncover seems to raise new questions about the intricate pathways of evolution and the complex interplay between form, function, and environmental pressure. The transition from ground-dwelling theropods to aerial predators sparked an evolutionary arms race that would reshape entire ecosystems. This period of intense adaptation and counter-adaptation, spanning approximately 50 million years during the Cretaceous period, witnessed the emergence of increasingly sophisticated flight capabilities alongside equally remarkable defensive innovations among prey species. The fossil record reveals a complex web of predator-prey relationships that drove the development of new hunting strategies and escape mechanisms, fundamentally altering the dynamics of ancient ecosystems. Recent discoveries in Brazil's Santana Formation have provided unprecedented insights into this evolutionary arms race. Preserved in exquisite detail, fossils show evidence of specialized hunting adaptations among early flying predators. These creatures developed enhanced visual systems, with enlarged optical lobes in their brains suggesting sophisticated depth perception and motion tracking capabilities. Their wing structures evolved to allow for more precise maneuverability, while their talons became increasingly specialized for capturing and subduing prey in mid-flight. The metabolic demands of powered flight necessitated fundamental changes in physiology. Analysis of bone microstructure reveals increasingly efficient oxygen delivery systems, with air sacs extending throughout the skeleton in a manner similar to modern birds. This adaptation allowed for better oxygen absorption and heat regulation, enabling sustained aerial pursuit of prey. Isotope studies of fossilized bone tissue indicate elevated metabolic rates, suggesting these creatures were maintaining body temperatures significantly higher than their environment, a crucial adaptation for the energy-intensive demands of powered flight. Competition among different flying species drove the development of diverse hunting strategies. Some evolved to become pursuit predators, capable of sustained high-speed flight, while others specialized in ambush tactics, developing the ability to hover and strike with precision. The discovery of specialized feather structures suggests some species even evolved sound-dampening capabilities, similar to modern owls, allowing them to hunt more effectively in low-light conditions. Prey species responded with their own suite of adaptations. Enhanced hearing capabilities, evidenced by enlarged auditory bullae and fossil skulls, allowed potential prey to detect approaching predators. Some developed more efficient escape behaviors, as shown by changes in leg bone structure indicating improved running and jumping abilities. Others evolved complex social behaviors, suggested by fossil assemblages showing evidence of group living and coordinated defense strategies. The impact of this evolutionary arms race extended beyond immediate predator-prey relationships. The pressure to evolve more efficient flight capabilities led to changes in breeding behavior, nesting strategies, and parental care. Fossil nests discovered in Montana's Two Medicine Formation reveal increasingly complex reproductive strategies, with evidence of extended parental care and the development of colonial nesting behaviors as protection against aerial predators. Perhaps most intriguing are the patterns of convergent evolution observed during this period. Multiple lineages independently evolved similar adaptations in response to similar selective pressures. The development of streamlined body shapes, enhanced visual systems, and sophisticated flight capabilities occurred repeatedly across different groups, demonstrating the power of natural selection to produce similar solutions to common evolutionary challenges. The fossil record also reveals numerous evolutionary experiments that ultimately proved unsuccessful. Some species developed elaborate display structures that, while potentially useful for courtship or intimidation, may have compromised their flight capabilities. Others evolved extreme specializations that likely made them vulnerable to environmental changes. These evolutionary dead ends provide valuable insights into the constraints and trade-offs inherent in adaptation. Climate fluctuations during this period added another layer of complexity to the evolutionary arms race. Changes in atmospheric oxygen levels, global temperatures, and vegetation patterns created shifting selective pressures that forced both predators and prey to constantly adapt. The discovery of rapid morphological changes in fossil populations suggests periods of intense selective pressure followed by relative stability. Modern analytical techniques have revealed previously unknown aspects of this ancient arms race. Three-dimensional modeling of fossil specimens, combined with computational fluid dynamics, allows scientists to better understand the flight capabilities and hunting strategies of extinct species. Molecular studies of preserved proteins and tissues provide insights into the physiological adaptations that made powered flight possible. This period of intense evolutionary innovation raises profound questions about the nature of adaptation and the pace of evolutionary change. How do multiple selective pressures interact to drive the evolution of complex traits? What determines whether a particular adaptation will prove successful in the long term? And what can this ancient arms race teach us about the dynamics of evolution in modern ecosystems facing rapid environmental change? The story of flight evolution represents more than just a series of anatomical changes. It demonstrates the intricate interplay between predator and prey, the role of environmental pressures in shaping adaptation, and the remarkable creativity of evolutionary processes in producing novel solutions to survival challenges. As we continue to uncover new evidence, our understanding of this crucial period in Earth's history becomes increasingly sophisticated, revealing patterns and principles that may help us better comprehend the ongoing process of evolution in today's world. Chapter 4: Extinction and Survival. The end of the Cretaceous period, marked by one of the most catastrophic extinction events in Earth's history, provides a fascinating window into the selective pressures that determined which flying species would survive to evolve into modern birds. The asteroid impact that occurred 66 million years ago, striking what is now the Yucatan Peninsula with the force of 10 billion Hiroshima bombs, triggered a cascade of environmental changes that would eliminate approximately 75% of all species on Earth, including most dinosaurs. Recent geological evidence from sites across the globe has revealed the immediate aftermath of this cataclysmic event in unprecedented detail. The impact generated a global firestorm, acid rain, and a devastating impact winter that lasted for several years. Atmospheric particles blocked sunlight, disrupting photosynthesis and collapsing food chains worldwide. These conditions created an evolutionary filter, selecting for specific traits that would prove crucial for survival in a drastically altered world. Analysis of fossil remains from the earliest Paleocene epoch, immediately following the extinction event, shows that the Aigaul surviving flying species possess several key adaptations. These creatures tended to be relatively small, with body masses typically under 5 kilograms, suggesting that smaller size offered advantages in a resource-limited environment. Their beaks showed adaptations for generalist feeding habits, allowing them to exploit whatever food sources remained available. Perhaps most importantly, they possessed highly efficient respiratory and metabolic systems that could cope with reduced oxygen levels and food scarcity. The survival of these species wasn't merely a matter of luck. Advanced computer modeling incorporating data from hundreds of fossil specimens indicates that certain behavioral and physiological traits provided crucial advantages. The ability to enter torpor, a state of decreased physiological activity, may have helped some species survive periods of extreme food scarcity. Evidence of this capability appears in the bone structure of several surviving lineages, showing similarities to modern birds that can lower their metabolic rates during challenging conditions. Detailed examination of seed assemblages from immediately above and below the extinction boundary reveals another crucial factor in avian survival. Many of the surviving species showed adaptations for seed eating, a trait that proved invaluable when complex food webs collapsed. Seeds, being nutrient-dense and capable of remaining viable for extended periods, provided a critical food source during the impact winter. The development of specialized gastrointestinal adaptations for processing seeds, evidenced by the presence of gastroliths, stomach stones, in fossil specimens, appears to have been a key innovation for survival. The post-extinction world presented new challenges and opportunities for the surviving species. With many ecological niches suddenly vacant, survivors underwent rapid adaptive radiation, evolving to fill roles previously occupied by other species. This period of evolutionary experimentation is documented in the fossil record through an explosion of new forms, with surviving lineages diversifying into a wide array of ecological roles within just a few million years after the extinction event. Modern analytical techniques have revealed previously unknown aspects of this crucial transition. Studies of bone microstructure show changes in growth patterns, suggesting that surviving species had more flexible development rates that could adjust to varying environmental conditions. Isotope analyses of fossil bones and teeth indicate that Survivors were capable of maintaining stable body temperatures despite environmental fluctuations, a crucial advantage during the impact winter. The discovery of fossil eggs and nesting sites spanning the extinction boundary provides insights into how reproductive strategies influenced survival. Species that invested in fewer, larger eggs with longer incubation periods appear to have been at a disadvantage compared to those producing smaller, more numerous eggs with shorter incubation times. This finding suggests that rapid reproductive turnover and greater reproductive flexibility contributed to survival through the extinction event. Perhaps most intriguingly, genetic studies of modern birds, combined with the fossil record, indicate that the survivors possessed enhanced immune systems and stress response mechanisms. These adaptations, evidenced by specific skeletal features associated with improved disease resistance, likely helped them cope with the challenging conditions following the impact. The ability to resist diseases and environmental toxins may have been particularly crucial in an environment characterized by decaying organic matter and altered atmospheric chemistry. The survival of flying species through the end Cretaceous extinction raises profound questions about evolutionary fitness and adaptability. What specific combinations of traits determine whether a species will survive major environmental perturbations? How do seemingly specialized adaptations sometimes prove advantageous in unexpected ways? And what can the survival of these ancient species teach us about the potential impacts of current and future environmental changes? As global temperatures rise and ecosystems face mounting pressures from human activities, the lessons learned from studying this ancient extinction event become increasingly relevant. The adaptations that allowed certain species to survive while others perished offer insights into the characteristics that might prove crucial for survival through future environmental challenges. The question remains, what traits will prove most valuable for species facing rapid environmental change in the modern world? The story of avian survival through the end Cretaceous extinction demonstrates the complex interplay between adaptation, chance, and environmental change in determining evolutionary outcomes. It reminds us that survival often depends not just on specialized adaptations, but on the flexibility to respond to unexpected challenges and the ability to persist through periods of extreme adversity. The evolutionary journey from the first, feathered dinosaurs to modern birds represents one of the most remarkable transformations in the history of life on Earth. Today, with over 10,000 species of birds inhabiting virtually every environment on the planet, the legacy of those ancient survivors continues to shape our understanding of evolution, adaptation, and resilience. Modern scientific techniques have opened new windows into this ancient story, revealing connections and insights that were unimaginable just a few decades ago. Advanced genomic studies have revealed that modern birds retain genetic signatures from their dinosaurian ancestors, including genes controlling everything from scale formation to egg-laying behavior. The discovery of regulatory genes shared between modern birds and their extinct relatives has provided unprecedented insights into the molecular mechanisms that drove the evolution of flight. These findings suggest that many of the key innovations that enabled survival through the end Cretaceous extinction were already present in the genome, waiting to be activated or modified by environmental pressures. The relationship between brain structure and behavior has become particularly fascinating as scientists compare the neuroanatomy of extinct species with their modern descendants. Computer tomography scans of fossil skulls, compared with brain imaging of modern birds, reveal an evolutionary trajectory toward enhanced cognitive capabilities. The enlarged forebrain regions associated with complex behaviors in modern birds appear to have their origins in adaptations that emerged during the late Cretaceous period, suggesting that increased behavioral flexibility played a crucial role in survival. Climate change studies have taken on new significance as researchers recognize parallels between ancient extinction events and current environmental challenges. The survival strategies employed by ancient birds during periods of rapid climate change provide valuable insights into potential adaptation mechanisms for modern species facing similar challenges. Analysis of oxygen isotopes in fossil bones has revealed how ancient species adjusted their metabolic rates and behavioral patterns in response to temperature fluctuations, offering clues about the capacity of modern birds to adapt to changing conditions. Biomechanical studies using advanced computer modeling have revolutionized our understanding of how flight capabilities evolved. Three-dimensional simulations of wing loading, airflow patterns, and energy expenditure have shown that many modern flight adaptations emerged gradually through a series of incremental improvements. These findings challenge earlier assumptions about the development of powered flight and suggest that the capacity for aerial locomotion evolved multiple times through different pathways. The discovery of preserved melanosomes, cellular structures containing pigments, in fossil feathers, has allowed scientists to reconstruct the coloration patterns of extinct species with unprecedented accuracy. These revelations have transformed our understanding of ancient signaling behaviors, courtship displays, and camouflage strategies. The complex social behaviors exhibited by modern birds appear to have deep evolutionary roots, with evidence suggesting that sophisticated communication systems were already developing among their dinosaurian ancestors. Perhaps most significantly, research into the survivors of the end Cretaceous extinction has provided crucial insights into how species might respond to future environmental challenges. The characteristics that enabled survival through past catastrophes, behavioral flexibility, dietary adaptability, and physiological resilience, may prove equally vital for species facing current and future environmental perturbations. This understanding becomes increasingly critical as modern birds face unprecedented challenges from habitat loss, climate change, and human activities. The question of how evolution produces complex adaptations continues to drive research in multiple fields. How do existing structures become modified for new functions? What role does developmental plasticity play in evolutionary innovation? And how do multiple selective pressures interact to shape the emergence of novel traits? The ongoing study of avian evolution provides valuable insights into these fundamental questions while raising new ones about the nature of evolutionary change. As we face growing environmental challenges in the modern world, the story of how ancient species survived and adapted through periods of extreme change becomes increasingly relevant. What lessons can we learn from the evolutionary history of birds as we work to preserve modern biodiversity? How might understanding ancient survival strategies help us predict and mitigate the impacts of current environmental changes on modern species?